think it's 10 years
Yeah, we
this
have
year, actually. Yeah.
Anniversary this year, 10 years. We met in 2004. And yeah, so we've been studying together and playing together since then, in various constellations.
It's a bit some coincidence, I also guess. The reason for me to play drums is just that my older brother played drums and it was a drum set there. The reason for choosing to play jazz and improvised music is also just meeting the certain people at certain times in your life. So, but I guess 2004, yeah, 10 years ago, meeting for the first time people of my own age with same interests. So, a bunch of coincidences.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up with classical music actually. I started to play violin when I was 7 years old, and then I jumped to the cello and then to the double bass later and played classical music. I skipped the viola though, maybe I could take up that later. But yeah, and then I started to play more jazz improvised music maybe at the age of 16 or something, inspired by a teacher of me. And I also played a lot of rock bands and electrical bass and stuff. So yeah, also in 2004, 2005, then I started to play jazz improvised music with people. I think it means maybe it means a bit freedom, maybe to take things apart, try to go in other directions than you usually do in more structural music forms, pop rock music. I don't know what genre we can say we play. It's not jazz, it's not free improv, it's maybe something in between. I don't have the name for it, but I think it's something to do with the freedom in the rhythms and the harmonies, maybe.
Yeah, flexibility, and also the musical choices you do or we have done for the last years. It's also a process of finding yourself, and it's getting more and more attached to and close to personality. So you find out like what kind of music you're more comfortable playing. But I also don't like to label it the way John Rune says, because to label it at jazz or improvised music or free jazz, it's a bit meaningless in a way. Yeah. I would say a lot of the musicians that we play with are those kind of people, because it's natural to try to get in touch with musicians that you look up to or admire, and same as for with Joe, and also another saxophone player we play with, Martin Kishin. That's people we sort of deliberately been wanting to play with because they inspire and represent honesty, musical honesty.
It has a quite good scene actually. It's a lot of people, a lot of young people coming up now, playing improvised and all kinds of music actually. But it's a small unit, both in Oslo and Trondheim and Bergen also, Stavanger. They have their individual scenes, and but it's not very big, so it's kind of like all know each other. So it's a nice community actually of musicians.
Yeah, I would say the scene is good, but also it's a small country, and in terms of audience and venues, it's always a hard balance and reality to actually. It's a lot of musicians, and the scene is very interesting, but we also are very eager to go out and play, because you meet the same, in Norway you play at the same places, meet the same people, and some of the most interesting part is to meet new audiences, new people, new musicians, and so therefore it's important to come out. Yeah. But the scene in Norway, I would say it's inspiring, not very conservative in many ways. It's quite liberal, and but it's a small country, so John Rune said he played in a rock band, but I didn't. I never played in a rock band ever. So, but it's a lot of people coming from
Yeah, metal.
that side, I would say.
Yeah, rock music. A lot of people coming from energy in rock music. Maybe they discovered the acoustic energy of even more strong, just to create energy. Like I remember when I first heard John Coltrane quartet, they could create this extreme energy just with acoustic instruments. That's also maybe you play in rock band first and discover acoustic music to play as maybe even more energetic music. So I don't know. I think it's mixed. People come from different backgrounds.
Well, we met John in 2011 because I was living in Amsterdam for 6 months, and a little bit of a coincidence there too. His drummer was sick, and they were supposed to play a duo, and he heard about a Norwegian drummer being in town. He didn't know so much about me, but he just called me and asked if I wanted to play a duo. It was the same day as the concert, and that weekend John Rune was visiting me in Amsterdam, so I was yeah, can I bring a bass player? And yeah, that was the first gig. John mentioned the idea of asking Joe for us to be a guest, and we did a tour exactly 1 year ago.
Yeah.
In Norway and Austria and Netherlands.
Yeah.
So this will be our second tour. Maybe more in the future. We'll just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
I'm just very happy to have him with us. It's inspiring. So I don't think so much about that, but it just feels very natural. It's just feels like playing with a friend.
Yeah, maybe after this tour we have some recordings at the concert, so I'm hoping we'll have a release ready, maybe autumn or something. Yeah, if